Good morning students, hope you all are fine. So today we will be starting with the next session of the science 2. As instructed earlier, we will be continuing with the syllabus. I hope you all are fine and doing well. Welcome back students. Today to the lecture of the 9th standard. As instructed previously, I have told you, if you can recall in our previous lectures, that from this academic sessions we will be studying science subject in two parts, that is science 1 and science 2. I hope you recall the first video of the science 1 in which I have told you. Okay, so now we are going to start with the science 2 syllabus. Before proceeding, let us first understand that what are we actually going to study in science 2. In science 2, we will be studying about the environment, environmental sciences and biology. Now studying with biology, we are first going to start the first chapter for science 2, that is the classification of plants. Okay, the chapter we are going to study, that's name is classification of plants. In that we are going to study about the kingdom Plantae, subkingdoms. Okay, if you are able to see students, subkingdoms. Okay, gymnosperms and angiosperms. Now, in your previous classes you have studied that the animal kingdom and plant kingdom are the two different kingdoms. Now, in your previous class you have studied about the classification on the basis of Monera, Protista, fungi. Okay, these were some of the kingdoms which were classified by Robert Whittaker, which we have studied in the previous chapter. Now in this chapter we have to focus on the classification of plants. Okay, so now studying for the classification of plants, we will first understand what are the criteria in which the plant kingdoms is classified. What are the bases? Okay, in your next level you are going to also study about the animals also, that is in the 10th standard you will be studying how the animals are classified. Now we are going to study about the classification of plants. Here this chart, if you see at this chart, it is about the living organism divided into prokaryotic and eukaryotic. Then prokaryotic is only having the Monera, eukaryotic is having the all the unicellular organisms, unicellular again divided into Protista. Okay, then we have studied about the multicellular organisms, multicellular divided with cell wall. Okay, and again without cell wall. With cell wall are known as autotrophs, that is plants, and without cell wall again with they are having plants, autotrophs and heterotrophs. Autotrophs means the organism which are able to make their own food. Heterotrophs means the organisms which depend on another organism for their food. And without cell wall we are having Animalia. Animalia means also known as the kingdom of the animal. Okay, so this was something which we had a short revision what we have studied in our previous grade. Now we will be focusing what we have to study and how is the kingdom Plantae, which is the part you are going to study, how it is classified and what are the criteria of the classification of kingdom Plantae. Now the presence or absence of organism is the first criterion for classification of the plants. Means certain organs are there. You can underline this sentence if students you want. You can underline this sentence that the presence or absence of the organs is the first criterion for classification of the plants. Then second, this also sentence underline, the presence or absence of separating conductive tissues for conduction of water and food is the next consideration for the classification. This you can underline, the presence or absence of separating conducting tissues, okay, for conduction of water and food is the next criteria for the classification. Again we are having one more criteria, that do the plants bear seeds, means if the plant is having seed or not. Okay, and if the seeds are there, where are the seeds enclosed, in which part of the plant is seed. That is one of the another criteria we are considering in this plants. Okay, so on basis of this we are having different characteristics for considering. Example, we are having depending of absence, presence and absence of fruit. Okay, the plants are classified as cryptogams and phanerogams on the presence or absence of the seed, fruits, flowers and seeds. The plants are known as cryptogams or phanerogams. So these are the certain criteria. This is just basic introduction which we are going to study. Now let us have a short break. After that we will be continuing with our next session. Okay, so students, hope you all have performed the eye exercises which are given to you in the previous video. Now we will proceed towards the next section. Welcome back, students. So regarding the further classification, first of all I am going to tell you who has classified the kingdom, plant kingdom. So in the year 1883, Eckler, a botanist, classified the plant kingdom into two subkingdoms, that is cryptogams and the phanerogams. Okay, and these all classifications were based on the presence or absence of fruits and flowers, seed or fruit, flowers and seeds. Okay, also whether the seeds are enclosed within a fruit or not. Phanerogram is classified into gymnosperms and angiosperms, whereas the group angiosperms is further classified as monocots and the dicots. So this is regarding the basic characteristics of the classification. Now we are going to turn towards the next section, that is towards the actual classification. So first we are going to study about the cryptogam. Now you can see the diagrams given in your textbooks. Yes. Okay, so vulva, cara and spirogyra, these are some of the examples of the plants belonging to the Thallophyta divisions. Okay, now one more thing which I want you all to understand, that these plants are having soft body like structures. Okay, and one of the very common example of another plant belonging to the system Thallophyta is the fungi. I hope you all are very well aware with the term fungi. The whitish, yes, the whitish growth which you see on the breads, chapatis, these are nothing but these are the examples of the fungi. Okay, so these are the organisms which we have studied in the division fungi. Now student, we will be studying about the next division, that is division Bryophyta. Before I proceed towards the Bryophyta, I just want you to recall, are you aware of the word amphibians? Yes, most of you might be knowing which animals. Now currently we are studied about the animals, that certain animals, those animals are known as amphibians. Now for your information, let us discuss which animals are known as amphibians. Correct, the animals which are able to survive in land as well as water. In the same way, the bryophytes are called the amphibians of the plant kingdom because they grow in moist soil and they need water for the reproduction. The plants are thalloid, multicellular and autotrophic. Thalloid means what? Their body is in the form of thallus, means they are not having proper distinguish of root, stems and leaves. The body is just in the form of a thallus. The reproduction is in the form by a spores formation. They reproduce by the formation of the spores. Okay. Now, the plant body of bryophyte is flat. The body is flat. It is having ribbon like long without, these are long structure. These are without true roots, stem and leaf. Instead of stem, they are not having a proper stem. Instead of stem, they are having a stem like or leaf like part that are known as the, or root like a part that are, those are known as a rhizoids. Stem like, leaf like or root like parts, these are the which parts are known as rhizoids. Okay. Now, they are not having any particular organ or particular tissues, you can say, for conduction of food and water. They don't have any specific tissues. Examples of the bryophytes are moss, funaria, okay, markensia and Brixia. Now we will be looking towards the diagram of the bryophytes. Okay students, so the examples of bryophytes are funaria, markensia and anthoceros. These are the examples of the plants belonging to the bryophyte division. Now you may perform the eye exercises. Remaining we will see in the next video. Again, welcome back students. Hope you all have taken a short break which was required for you to do the eye exercises. Now let's continue with the next session. Welcome back students. Now again, continuing towards the next part of our chapter, we are going to study about the division 3 of the plant kingdom. Okay, we are going to study about the Pteridophyta. As compared to previous two divisions, you will be looking that these plants, this group, have well developed roots, stems and leaves. Okay, also these are having separate conducting tissues for food and water, means these are having special different types of fruits, different types of roots. They are having roots also, they are having well defined stem, leaves and also they are having the separate tissues which conduct food and water from different parts of the plants. Then along with that, another characteristics of this, that they do not have flowers and fruits, means these are non-flowering and non-fruit giving plants. They don't have either flowers and fruits. These plants, they reproduce with the help of spores. Okay, they reproduce with the help of the spores formed along the back or posterior surface of the leaves. They reproduce with the help of the spores. If you are able to see this portions which I am highlighting here, these are the spores. Okay, these are the spores. You are able to see this spores. Okay, see this highlighted portion, this blackish structure, these are known as the spores and these spores are helping in the reproduction. Now examples are ferns like Nephrolephis, Marcellia, Petris, Aditanium. Okay, these are some of the examples of the plants belonging to the kingdom Pteridophyta. Then one more important thing which you should know, that these plants, they reproduce asexually by formation of spores and they reproduce sexually also by formation of a zygote. As mentioned earlier, these are having very well developed conducting system. Conducting system means what? The system which allows the transport of minerals, transport of fruits from one part of the plant to another. That system is known as a conducting system. Okay students, so these are the diagrams which you can just see the. Now these are having the spores. I have told you previously also. Now see the leaves. The leaves are well developed leaves, you can say. Stems are also very well developed. So from this, and these are the roots like structures. Okay, see the roots. Okay, now these are the type of certain examples of the plants belonging to the Pteridophyta division. Now after that we are going to see the next division, that is we are going to study about the phanerogram. So now students, we are going to start with the next, that is the section, that is we are going to study about the phanerograms. Now phanerograms are different than cryptograms in the term that now these are the plants which are having special structures for reproduction. Okay, so plants which are having special structures for reproductions are known as a phanerograms. Okay, now for the reproduction process, these plants are having seeds. Okay, which contain embryo and store the foods. You can underline this sentence, that's why I am highlighting it. We are having the seeds which contain embryo and store the food. During the germination of the seed, the stored food is used for the growth of an initial embryo. Means during the initial stage of the development of the plant, the food stored by the seeds is used by the embryo for the development. Now again, depending upon whether the seeds are enclosed in fruit or not, these phanerograms are further divided into the gymnosperms and angiosperms. Okay, phanerograms depending upon the seeds are enclosed in the fruit or not. Okay, so I'll just highlight the word enclosed over here so you will not be get confused. Only upon depending upon the enclosement of the seeds, the phanerograms are further divided into gymnosperms and angiosperms. Now remaining we will be seeing in the next segment. Kindly perform the eyes exercises which is given to you. Again welcome back students. Hope you all have taken a short break which was required for you to do the eye exercises. Now let's continue with the next session. Okay students, now in the next section we are going to now proceed with the division 1, that is the gymnosperms. Now gymnosperms are mostly evergreen plants. Okay, they are perennial. Now perennial might be a new word for you. Perennial means what? You know, the things which last for the whole year. Okay, means mostly these plants are evergreen, you can say, or they last for throughout the year. They are having blooms on them, and these are woody. Woody means these. Now if you go towards this structure, this is a cycas plant. I hope you all are able to see very properly. This is a wood. Okay, cycas plant is having a stem. Okay, which is in the form of a wood. So in this way we can say that gymnosperms are woody plants. They are branchless. They don't have a branch. Okay, they are without the branches. And the leaves of the gymnospermy plants, they form a crown. Now another important characteristic features of the gymnospermy plants are that gymnosperms are having male and female flowers on different sporophylls of the same seed. Okay, so male and female flowers are different in the gymnosperming plants. Now seeds of the gymnospermic plants are naked, that is they do not have any natural covering. Okay, and that's why the name, this name is given gymnosperm. Gymnosperm is what? Naked seeds or naked, okay, sperms. Gymno means what? Naked, and sperms means seeds. So hence the name is given to this particular division, that is known as a gymnosperms, means seeds of these plants are naked. You can underline this highlighted sections. Okay, Now, examples of gymnospermic plants are cycas, Christmas tree, pinus, deodar. These are some of the examples of the gymnospermic plants. Now again, after turning towards the gymnosperm, we are having the next segment of our plant, that is towards the angiosperms. Now, starting before the angiosperms, let me make you aware. Most of us have seen groundnut, mangoes. Still mango season is going on, so you might have seen the seeds of mangoes, beans. These are when we soak them into water and we try to divide it, we try to cut, they get divided into two halves, okay, depending upon the size. So angiospermic plants are the plants which are having seeds, and depending upon the type of the seeds, whether it is able to divide into two or not, these are further classified into the monocots and dicots. But first, now we are going to study what are the angiospermic plants. Now angiospermic plants are the plants which bear flowers. Okay, previously, till previous division, till gymnosperms, those were non-flowering plants. Plants were not bearing the flower. The angiosperms are the flowering plants. Now, what is the stage of the development, students? First, flowers develop into the fruits and seeds are formed within the fruits. Means, in short, you can say that the flowers are responsible for the formation of the fruits. Okay. Now, these seeds are covered. Okay, these seeds are covered. That's why this bracketed highlighted name, that is angios means what? Cover, and sperms means what? Seed. That's why the name angiosperms is given, because the seeds in these plants are having covering. The seeds in these plants are having particular type of covering. Now again, angiosperm is divided into two different categories, that is dicotyledonous and dicotyledonous plants and monocot or monocotyledonous plants. Okay, so the difference between the dicot and monocot we will be studying in the next section. Now you can perform the eye exercises which were given to you. Again, welcome back, students. Hope you all have taken a short break which was required for you to do the eye exercises. Now let's continue with the next session. Okay, student, once again welcome. Now we have reached to the end of this section, end of this lesson. We are going to now study the difference between the dicotyledonous plants and the difference between the monocotyledonous plants. Okay, so first difference we will be on the basis of the seeds. The seeds of the dicotyledonous plants, they are having how many cots? They are having 2 cotyledons. Whereas the seeds of monocot plant, they are having a single cotyledon. Then roots. The roots of the dicot are very well developed. Okay, they are very well developed. Well developed roots. You can underline this word. Whereas the root of monocot plant is a fibrous root. Stem. The next concept we are going to study about the stem. The stem in the dicot is strong, hard. Example, banyan tree. Okay, not only banyan tree, you are having different examples, like examples of neem trees also you can see. You can see the mango trees. These all are having the strong stems. Okay, their stems are strong and hard. Whereas monocot's example is bamboo. Yes, bamboo is hollow. If you can recall the structure of bamboo. Banana. Yes, banana stem is actually, it is a false stem. And disc-like stems, though example is an onion. Then reticulate venation. The leaf in the dicot and monocot are having different in the venations, the structure of the veins. So Dicot leaves are having reticular venation and monocot are having parallel venations. And the flowers in the dicot are in the part of 4 or 5, multiples of 4 or 5, that is known as a tetramerous or pentamerous. These depends on the number of the petals the flowers are having actually. Okay, how many type of petals the flowers are bearing. Whereas in monocot, flowers are in the part of 3, and these are known as a trimerous. These plants are known as trimerous. Okay. Now see, certain examples of the different plants is given here in your day-to-day life, which you can see in your surroundings, and you will be then further able to divide those plants into monocot or dicot. Now you can see here the maize. Maize is an example of a monocot plant. Okay students. Now this was regarding our lessons. I will be sharing certain question bank with you. I hope you will be completing that question bank very properly in the new notebook. Draw the diagrams wherever they are required as per your requirement, as per the, if the question is asked where you think it is necessary to draw the diagrams. Okay, you have to draw the diagrams and complete the notes. Okay students. Now see, the homework for you will be, for first of all, watch the video twice or thrice. If certain points may be there that while looking in the flow you might have not understood, so kindly watch the video twice. And homework will be, read the lesson 2 times. Okay, as you have seen most of the part I have shown the textbook only, so it will be very easy for you to understand the concept when you open your textbook. And again read this lesson simultaneously in the conjugation with your textbook. Okay, notes I will be question bank I will be giving you, that you have to complete in the form of notes. Okay students, for any queries refer the lesson, refer the textbook. Thank you.